Happy New Year. Thank you for tuning in. It's Jacqueline DuPont, the Gerontologist, and I'm really excited to have with me today Carla Turney, our director at Assured In-Home Care. And I have some wonderful questions for her today because I feel like people don't realize how special Assured is for so many different reasons and how important it is to know about their mission and what they're doing in Orange County and LA, because it's so different from anyone else, and they do help so many older adults age in place and in just a very unique way. So Carla, I know you are so cute. Thank you for coming here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, I want you to explain to our viewers how the process of home care works from beginning to possibly end, or beginning to when you start care, because the way you handle families and of course clients is so dignified and it's so different. I know you don't want any kudos, but you deserve them. So explain to everyone out there how we handle our wonderful people we serve.
Well, thank you, Jacqueline, for having me. I really appreciate it, and I'm very honored to be able to speak about how those of us who work with older adults can provide them with support and dignity in their home. So oftentimes, families are faced with an immediate crisis. Their loved one has been diagnosed with something in the hospital, or they are not living close by a parent, and they're recognizing and seeing signs of some declining physical or cognitive issues. And so they may get a list, or they may receive some information about home care and board and care. And when they reach out to me for home care services, what I do is I just try and build a relationship with them, and a trusting one, so that they understand that I'm going to help them be an advocate and provide them with the tools that they need in order to have a springboard to be able to make certain decisions for their aging parents. So I ask them really in the beginning just to kind of share their story with me, and they do. And once I know their story, I'm able to ask questions and provide them with some alternatives. So ultimately, if we can help them in the home with caregiver support, that's great. But if we can't, because they have to make other decisions, at least they're given information that can help them in asking questions for the doctors, in considering alternatives for support in the home.
Like the physician coming in,
yes,
or hospice.
So having
or
house call doctors, or having any type of hospice support, or just asking certain questions. So I think that, it's sad, but sometimes if a loved one, if a client, I'm sorry, not a potential client, if a family loved one is struggling and their children are faced with this, they just don't know what they don't know. Right. So they're listening to a doctor or a medical profession tell them, okay, well, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, and then it's the end of the conversation. And then they leave, and they don't know what to do with all that information. So I just help them filter through that and provide them with love and support, and educate them for making decisions for the people that they love most, their parents, their spouse, that sort of thing.
It's so difficult. When you go out to their home,
yes.
So say you're talking to them and they say, well, we're really considering a caregiver, and my husband needs 24-hour care, yes, or maybe 8 hours a day, whatever it is. Then you do go out to their home.
Yes.
What do you do when you get there?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. So our assessments are free. So when I do talk to families, I first provide them with an email document that gives them a framework. So how much our rates are, what our mission is, how we work with our employees and families to match them up, because obviously we want to find the right profile fit. So I give them some information before they meet with me, so they don't feel like once they meet with me, they're locked in. And then when I go out, I just explain why I'm there, and I thank them for letting me in their home, and then I ask them to share anything that they want to share with me before we get started, and then I tell them what I'm going to do while I'm there. And so I ask them their story, we get information about their past, their medical, any family dynamics that are going on, and then I ask them if they would like me to walk around their home with them and offer support or suggestions about things that might help them live a little bit more safely and with more security. So things like the shower, things that are tripping hazards or fall hazards, things that might help just ventilation of the home, and then yes, also I'll make suggestions about medication management, and I'll just use myself. Like I tell them, even though I'm only on vitamins, I set up everything in a pill pack because we forget. Life is overstimulating. There's too much coming at us. So if they get everything set up in a pill box, then it's done and they don't have to think about it, even if they're on no prescriptions, right? Wow. Even if it's just, vitamins. So little things to help them not have to live in all the stress of what's challenging in their life at the time, whether that's medication, whether that's doctor's appointments. I mean, how many times have, families said, oh, I have a doctor's appointment today, and it's their whole day.
Yeah,
it's
so hard on them.
It's not really an enthusiastic way or a peaceful way to have to live your life. Doctor's appointments and pills and this and that. So if we can minimize all of those things, then they can really live a much more dignified life at home.
Oh, thank you, Carla.
Oh, sure. My pleasure. I'm so happy to be here.
And explaining how wonderful you are. When there is an issue, like say the caregiver they just feel like they're not liking their cooking or there's not a match.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
That's a very good question as well. So I always tell families on the front end that, staffing is like a puzzle. We want to make sure that we find the right employee for the right family. And at Assured, we traditionally do not hire anybody that I wouldn't personally have with my own mom. So I don't, some people have their strengths and weaknesses, and I'm very honest with our families, and I'll say, give me your top 3 wishes. Like, we all want a caring person.
Of course. Yeah.
But do you prefer someone who's more reserved? Do you like someone who's more of a self-initiator? Is cooking really important to you? Is someone who's comfortable driving and navigating because you have a lot of doctor's appointments? Right. What are those kinds of things? And then I tell them, it's oftentimes not just about the person, but about the schedule you want and about the hours you want. And so
and one
it
thing
takes
I
time.
love about your care management, when you go out, you seem to put together a schedule for that caregiver. Like this client wants in the morning, loves to watch, I don't know, morning show on TV, and then that gives their routine to the caregiver, so you can kind of match the plan of care, so everyone seems to follow a structured plan, and that keeps everyone in check a little bit. I do love that. And
yes,
you were
exactly.
really great with my dad when he had that fall and did that with our caregivers. So.
Well, I think it's an occupational hazard when you've been an educator for over 20 years to have things scheduled and structured, but at least, again, using that word, a springboard, right? It really is a place to begin. So you get to say, here are some things that might help you be successful, And I do ask the families, what is your daily routine? Because that does go into the plan of care, and that plan of care, once the family signs off on it, is accessible to employees. And the client has to be happy and the employee has to be happy. They have to want to help and be comfortable with each other. And if a family says, can you find me this person who will only work X amount of hours in these days, and I'm never going to promise something I can't commit. So I always say to them, if you're open to a schedule, if you're open, then that gives me more freedom to really look for the right person. Yeah. So you can't do this process without considering the staffing end, which is, we really need to be a team when we serve people at home, and it takes everybody. It doesn't just take me coming out and, quote, selling home care. It takes all of the follow-up and all of the circling back and making sure that families are really happy. So.
Well, I appreciate all that you do, and
Thank
Carla,
you.
not every home care has a Carla. And I'm not just saying that because of who you are, because you are very special, but you take the time to invest in each case as if it were your own family. And that is the key to serving older adults, is making sure you have that empathy. And I'm just so proud of you and proud of what Assured does. So thank you for coming out today. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you so much,
Have
Deb.
a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you.